here at NDTV Profit. Let's start with the headlines. Geopolitical tensions remain at the forefront at the start of 2024. The U.S. Navy repels a Houthi attack in the Red Sea, sinks 3 boats. Shipping giant Maersk pauses operations on the Suez Canal route for 48 hours. Chinese President Xi Jinping acknowledges economic challenges and vows to boost momentum and job creation in a rare admission. This after Chinese factory output contracts for a 3rd month in a row. BHEL pips Larsen & Toubro as the preferred bidder for an over 19,400 crore order from NLC India, according to reports. India's rail revolution is on the fast track. Rail Minister Ashwini Vaishnav tells NDTV Profit that 2.6 lakh crore rupees is needed every year for the next 5 years. Currency traders turn to riskier exotic bets as the RBI keeps the rupee stable. That's an NDTV Profit exclusive. Now, heading into the new year, geopolitical tension remains at the forefront. Maritime trade continues to be disrupted by attacks by Houthi rebels in the Red Sea. Maersk has stopped using the Suez Canal route after an attack on one of its ships by the rebels led to a significant escalation of tensions. In that incident, one of Maersk's ships sent out a distress signal, which was responded to by the U.S. Navy, and the Navy said that it was fired on, which resulted in the sinking of 3 Houthi boats and the death of their crews. Now, in China, factory activity shrank for the 3rd straight month, signaling persistent pressure on the economy from sluggish domestic and overseas demand. The official manufacturing purchasing managers index declined to 49. In fact, we shouldn't be playing those slides because I'm not very sure. I'm going to have to check whether those markets are open. But the purchasing managers index declined to 49 in December from 49.4 in November. Economists had expected a reading of 49.6. Meanwhile, the slide in China's home sales accelerated in December, and that points to continued challenges for the Chinese administration. The value of new home sales among the 100 biggest real estate companies fell 34.6% from a year earlier to 451.3 billion yuan, and that compares with a drop of about 30% in November. And that's, of course, according to the preliminary data from China Real Estate Information Corporation that was released over the weekend. Now, all of that has led to a rare admission of domestic headwinds faced by China by President Xi Jinping. He has pledged to strengthen economic momentum and job creation, acknowledging that some companies and citizens had endured a difficult 2023. Now, let's turn to the Indian equity markets and tell you how we're set up for the start of the new year. Agam is joining in to tell you just that. Agam, gains for the benchmark of as much as 20% for 2023. The question is, do we continue from here on out? What are the cues suggesting?
Right, that's the big question a lot of people are going to ask, Alex. And as we move into the new year, the first quarter of this 2024, we're going to keep an eye on not only the earnings, but several other developments. Of course, the vote on account as well towards the end of January and first week of February. That said, we really didn't see too much traction as far as Friday is concerned. A little bit of unwinding, even as the benchmarks moderated after the substantial highs that we saw when it comes to the Nifty as well as the Bank Nifty. A 0.25% decline for the underlying as far as the Nifty is concerned, coming down to the Bank Nifty as well. We didn't see too much of a change, just about a 0.5% decline in open interest, even as the underlying declined by around 0.5% too. So open interest declining by around 0.5% as well. Moving on to what we can expect with respect to the range. At the moment, coming down to the Nifty, we're looking at a 500-odd point range. That hasn't changed either. About that 500-point range at the moment is between 21,500, where we have max OI and puts, and on the higher end, keeping an eye on 22,000, where we do have max OI and calls. A lot of traders and analysts are of the opinion that it'll be hard for the Nifty to take out 22,000 anytime in the near term. But we'll keep an eye on that one. Of course, we're seeing more and more writing around the 22,000 mark. as far as calls are concerned. On the lower end, a lot more building up positions with respect to puts around 21,500 and 21,400. That would give you a natural support around those levels as far as puts are concerned. In terms of stocks, once again, we saw longs, a lot of underlyings, did see advances, which would include Nalco, Balrampur Chini, Samvardhan, along with something like an RBL Bank. Intermesh has been on a little bit of a decline in terms of trend. In terms of those stocks we saw unwinding coming through, we did see about a short covering for Torrent Pharma, L&T Finance, as well as Hindustan Copper, and longs unwinding in HPCL and BPCL. OMCs, of course, were in focus as well on account of news as far as Friday is concerned. But, a new day, Alex, a new quarter, new year, and plenty to look forward to. But at the moment, we could perhaps expect a little bit of consolidation going after the kind of up move that we've already seen last week.
All right, Agam, and I can confirm that the Chinese equity markets are also shut today, as are most major financial markets. But the Indian equity markets are open, and we'll get you set up for that. And we're getting a head start on everybody else, as we normally do at the start of the year. Let's talk about the currency market as well. Currency traders in the Indian foreign exchange market are choosing exotic option trades in the dollar-rupee pair as the Reserve Bank of India's aggressive intervention to keep the rupee stable is forcing them to do this. Apparently, we've got Mimantha joining in. She's spoken to quite a few people to get you this update. Mimantha, what are you picking up, and what is the significance of this?
Hi, good morning, Alex. Yeah, so a stable rupee for 4 months nearly now has led the currency traders to resort to exotic options trading, which is slightly riskier, and this is on USD INR, of course, which is slightly riskier because although they guarantee, the exotic options guarantee, they provide some flexibility, but they do not guarantee profits. So if you were to talk about how much is the extent that currency traders are going for exotic options, on the NSE, the open interest on most active options, which expired on Friday, December 29th, the strike price was at 83.25, and the open interest was at 6.23 lakh contracts. Now, that is a really large number for options on USD INR. And when I say strike price of 83.25, that means that market participants were not expecting the rupee to depreciate beyond 83.25 levels. So on Friday, the rupee closed at 83.21. So a lot of people must have made money on that. But if it were to go beyond 83.25, many of them would have lost money. Now, this is a risk that is building up in the market, as what we know so far from whatever we have spoken to the experts and market participants. Now, this shift in trading strategy has come from the fact that the RBI has kept the rupee way too stable between 83.25 to 83.40 in the last 4 months, which has actually deprived market participants for any significant trading opportunities. And they have conducted these interventions through all platforms available: spot, forwards, futures market. Now, as I said, the market participants believe that too stable rupee is going to lead to hefty losses going ahead if the rupee comes under pressure. So one of the key factors to look out for is the crude oil prices, which is on the rise because of the geopolitical tensions and the attacks in Red Sea. While the central bank has time and again said that they intervene to smoothen out the volatility, experts believe that they want to shore up their FX reserves and optically come at a decent number, because that is the first line of defense.
Right, understood. Thanks so much, Mimantha, for bringing us those details. Let's focus in on the passenger vehicle space, or rather the automotive space, where you will see the wholesale data for the month of December being announced over the course of today and tomorrow. You have both passenger vehicle sales as well as two-wheeler majors that will be announcing that. We've got Vinay joining in to give you some perspective on what to expect. We're likely to see a little bit of pressure on passenger vehicle sales, right, Vinay?
Yeah, and it's not just about December. As we have reported earlier as well, the passenger vehicle sales are gradually slowing down. The growth is also coming down. It's a combination of factors. So it's a slowdown in demand post-festive season, as well as high inventory at dealerships. But the major problem is the dismal sales of entry-level vehicles, which is pulling the entire space down. When it comes to two-wheeler sales, in December, it strengthened the expectations of recovery because it is growing well. And after disproportionate numbers for many years, now the sector is looking to go up ahead. When it comes to commercial vehicles, the demand continues to be driven by infrastructure development, and medium and heavy commercial vehicles lead the sales in that sector. Inquiry trends suggest that improvement in the tractor demand, but sales may take some months before recovering because there is a cyclical downturn because previous years were very high in terms of sales. Now we are seeing that the higher base is making the comparable sales a little lower than what they used to be.
Understood. Thanks so much, Vinay, for bringing us those details. And of course, Vinay will be back over the course of the day to tell you the latest in the auto space. And that action, I think, will start even before the market starts. Let's talk about BHEL, arguably going to be the stock of the day today because it's won a significant order. It's a turnkey contract to construct 3 ultra-supercritical thermal power plants for NLC India. It has outbid L&T for that contract. And we've got Anushi joining in with more details. Anushi, I believe that this is on the basis of reports, but what are the details here?
Morning, Alex. As you correctly mentioned, this is based on a very strong report which has come, which we can look at as a positive for the BHEL. Now, this is with the consideration of about 19,422 crores, and wherein it has emerged as the lowest bidder for the NLC India turnkey contract, wherein they are going to be building a thermal power plant at the Odisha facility. Now, the report suggests that BHEL has quoted a better price than L&T and has hence emerged out as the lowest bidder. With this, BHEL is responsible for building 3 special ultra supercritical units of 800 megawatts each for NLC India, while we have to note that NLC has added a 4th unit as well of 800 megawatt. It is unclear whether there would be a separate tender for that or not, as the current bid is for the 3 projects that it has. Now, if you look at the BHEL's order book as on 30th September, that stood at about 1,14,000 crores, which represents the current order that is about 16% of the total outstanding order book. Even if you look at the stock performance, the stock has already more than doubled just this year to date as of December.
All right. Thanks so much, Anushi, for bringing us those details. One of the outperformers, BHEL. So do certainly watch out for it in trade today. That is a significant order. We have to slip into a very quick break. Do stay tuned. We've got a lot of stock-specific action to tell you about in just a bit.
You have an ambitious plan, you have a big plan. Do you have the capability within the country available in the private sector to execute it?
Absolutely.
Because that's where we get stuck, in execution.
Absolutely. As I said, out of the 2,40,000 crore capex budget that we have practically done about 70% by the end of December. Or actually it is 77%.
Okay.
It's of that order, 74 or 77% of that order, right? That's possible because there's a huge ecosystem which is supporting the entire execution. Methods have been changed. PM साहब का हमेशा एक फोकस रहता है बारीकी से चीज़ों को देखो और उसमें रिफॉर्म्स करो. काम करने का तरीका, कॉन्ट्रैक्चुअल स्ट्रक्चर कैसा है, डिज़ाइन की कैसी कैपेबिलिटीज़ है, सुपरविजन कैसे बेटर होगा. बहुत प्रैक्टिकल चीज़ है. लैंड एक्विजिशन में रिटायर्ड पटवारी को रिटायर्ड तलाटी को लगाओ, राइट. इस तरह की जो प्रैक्टिकल चीज़ें हैं उसके कारण आज कंपनीज की कैपेबिलिटी भी बढ़ी है, काम करने की ताकत बढ़ी है उनकी. एंड मेनी ऑफ द डिज़ाइन कंपनीज आर ऑन अ हायरिंग स्प्री. They are like increasing their headcount every month. You talk to them and they are saying that we have added so many people, we have added one more center. So that's second. There are some very serious technology companies in our country. Very serious technology companies which do not have to depend upon importing technology. They are capable of developing those technologies in the railway sector, specifically I am saying. And railway की बहुत सारी adjacencies होती हैं. Once you have a railway technology, that straight away goes into marine sector, that straight away goes into power generation sector, that straight away goes into defense sector. बहुत सारी adjacencies होती हैं. उन adjacencies को भी, for example, जो अपना रेलवे के लोकोमोटिव में पावर ट्रेन होती है. That same power train can be used for running a submarine.
Welcome back. You're watching All You Need to Know. Let's turn to the stocks that you should watch out for and trade today. We've already spoken about BHEL, but there are a few more. And let's start with the list that Anushi has. Anushi is back to tell you more. Anushi, what do you have on your list today?
Right, so I have 3 stocks to watch out for today, starting with ACC, wherein the company has commissioned a cement manufacturing unit with 1 million ton per annum capacity. Alongside this, they already have a clinker capacity of about 3.3 million ton per annum. So this greenfield capacity is in fact leading to ACC's overall portfolio of about 37 million ton per annum. Next is Genzol Engineering, which is in focus ahead of its fundraising plans today. So with this, we had a recent chat with management wherein they are expecting about a 4,000 crore revenue by FY26 compared to about 393 crore it is currently making. Now, alongside this, they are also considering about raising about 200 to 300 crore given their existing order book. So this is Genzol. And lastly, we have Ramki Infrastructure, wherein the company subsidiary Srinagar-Banihal Expressway has entered into a one-time debt settlement of about rupees 1,245 crore with its lenders, and which remains repayments with an extended timeline of about 516 crore remaining for the 30th January. Do note that the company had already made 2 repayments of debt of amounting to about 755 crore earlier.
Thanks, Anushi, for bringing us those details. A few more stocks. In fact, we've got Varsha standing by to give you her list of stocks. Varsha, what are you picking up?
Good morning, Alex.
Morning.
So happy New Year. So starting with Power Mech, so it received order worth rupees 2,192 crores. Now they've got 2 contracts. One is for operation and maintenance at coal-fired power plant. Now contract has been received from Meenakshi Energy, and time period by which this contract need to be completed is 5 years, and the contract value is almost 674 crores. Then again they've got the second contract is for mining of riverbed mineral, where the completion time is about 5 years, and the total consideration for contract is almost 1,500 crores. Then next we have Royal Orchid, where Regenta and Royal Orchid to have 100 hotels by FY24, and also this is with an addition of 2 new Regenta hotels, and currently it operates almost 98 properties across 60 locations in 18 states. And if you see the expansion plans for the company, they have to add 50 hotels and 2,000 rooms by FY25.
Thanks so much, Varsha, for bringing us those details. Let's focus in on Grasim as well. And the company has commissioned an additional 1.23 lakh ton of annual advanced materials capacity at its Bharuch plant in Gujarat. Hemant is joining in to give you some perspective on why that is important for the company. Hemant, over to you.
Thanks, Alex. So this development comes with Grasim essentially doubling on its capacity, previously 1.23 lakhs to now 2.46 lakhs. And this is significant because it was earlier highlighted by the management that they will be commissioning this plant by Q3, and this comes right towards the end of it. In terms of the expansion, the total expansion will facilitate the growth of its specialty chemicals business, which as of last year contributed to about 63% in terms of its total EBITDA, while only being 36% in terms of its top line. So it's a high margin business that we are seeing here. In Q2, the business did see some sluggishness coming in because it's mainly an export-led demand business. And with a slowdown in the global economy, it did see some rough patch, at least in the Q2. The board is also said to be meeting on Jan 4th to consider the terms for its rights issue, which was previously approved for rupees 4,000 crores. And lastly, in terms of global prices that are declining, you are going to see import substitution. But overall, lots of developments coming in from Grasim to look out for.
All right, thanks so much, Hemant, for bringing us those details. And finally, a brokerage firm, Motilal Oswal, is bullish on Dalmia Bharat and gives it a buy rating at a price of 2,800 rupees. Harsh Saita is joining in to give you some perspective on why there is that buy rating and what the implications are. Morning, Harsh. What are the key details here?
Well, yes, Alex. Top pick for 2024 for Motilal Oswal is Dalmia Bharat. Very interesting note coming through. What they're essentially suggesting is 2 to 3 factors which are going to drive Dalmia Bharat's rating upside of 20+%. 2,800 is the target price on that one. And what they're suggesting, therefore, is there's been a 6-odd month of underperformance that Dalmia Bharat has clocked versus the index as well as versus other cement stocks. That's largely due to the fact that Eastern demand, where Dalmia Bharat is largely placed, has been quite subdued, and which is what is really impacting the stock price as well. What they're suggesting going forward, the other drag rather on Dalmia Bharat is the fact that their acquisition of JPA assets, which is Jayaprakash Associate assets, has also seen a bit of a delay. So both of those turning around is what one would, or what Motilal really starts to pencil in. They're expecting strong growth coming through, 14 to 70% CAGR all the way to 2031. Taking the capacity from roughly 75 MTPA to roughly 110 to 130 MTPA. That's a substantial increase, ambitious plans. And on top of that, they're expecting the EBITDA, the debt to EBITDA levels, net debt to EBITDA levels to remain below the 2 times mark. Therefore, contained, borrowing on the back of that expansion. And that's where the positive fillip will come. They're valuing it at 13 times EV to EBITDA Q2 FY26. That's the valuation which they're pegging Dalmia Bharat at.
right, thanks so much, Harsh, for bringing us those details. Dalmia Bharat, a stock to watch in trade today as well. But there's a lot more to tell you about before the start of trade, and you'll find all of that action right here on NDTV Profit. As we end this program, let me once again wish all of you a very, very happy 2024, and most importantly, a profitable one. Do stay tuned. This is NDTV Profit.